1. Recording screen and audio.
হ্যালো ভিউয়ার্স, ওয়েলকাম টু ব্যাক মাই চ্যানেল। আমি সুজয় আবার চলে এসেছি আপনাদের কাছে নতুন একটি ভিডিও নিয়ে। অবশ্যই এই ভিডিওটি প্রত্যেকের জন্য ইম্পর্টেন্ট। আজকে আমরা আলোচনা করব RPWD অ্যাক্ট 2016। এই ভিডিওতে আমরা প্রথম 7টা পেজে কি আছে সেটা আমরা শুনব। অবশ্যই টোটাল 35টা পেজ রয়েছে। আমরা প্রথম 7টা পেজ করে একটি পার্ট তৈরি করছি, যাতে তোমাদের শুনতে গিয়ে বোরিংনেস না চলে আসে। তো অবশ্যই আমি একজন দৃষ্টিহীন, আর এই একটাও দৃষ্টিহীন মানে প্রতিবন্ধী ব্যক্তির জন্য। অবশ্যই তোমরা ভিডিওটি ভালো লাগলে একটি লাইক করবে, আর যদি এই ভিডিওটি কোনো প্রতিবন্ধী বন্ধু দেখে থাকো তবে অন্যকে শেয়ার করবে। আর যদি কোনো নর্মাল ব্যক্তি দেখে থাকো, অবশ্যই কোনো প্রতিবন্ধী ব্যক্তি দেখলে তাকে এই একটা দিয়ে তুমি সাহায্য করবে। কারণ আমাদের প্রতিবন্ধী সমাজে প্রত্যেকে বিভিন্ন সমস্যার সম্মুখীন হই, যা সমাধান করতে এই একটি ভীষণভাবে কাজ লাগবে। তো ঠিক আছে, চলো শুরু করা যাক আজকের টপিক RPWD অ্যাক্ট 2016, প্রথম 7 পেজ। তো চলো শুরু করা যাক।
Replay page. Play.
Page 1. Registry Sam Diella Ina 040007 2003 16 registered no. DLN 040007 2003 -16. Bharata. Satyameva Jayate. Ka. Rajapatra. The Gazette of India. 59. Asadharana. Extraordinary. Bhaga 2 Kanda 1. Part 2 Section 1 Pradhakara She Prakasata. Published by Authority. Nai Delhi, Budavara, Disambara 28, 2016 407, 1938 Sakat No. 59 New Delhi, Wednesday, December 28, 2016 PAUSHA 07, 1938 Saka. Isa Bhaga Mem Bina Pretha Sankhya Dijati Hai Jayas Ki Yaharalaga Sankalana Ki Rupa Mem Raka Ya Sake. Separate paging is given to this part in order that it may be filed as a separate compilation. Ministry of Law and Justice. Legislative Department. New Delhi, the 28th of December 2016 Pausha 17, 1938 Saka. The following Act of Parliament received the assent of the President on the 27th of December 2016 and is hereby published for general information. The Rights of Persons with Disabilities ACT, 2016. No. 49 of 2016. The 27th of December 2016. An act to give effect to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. Whereas the United Nations General Assembly adopted its Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities on the 13th day of December, 2006. And whereas the aforesaid convention lays down the following principles for empowerment of persons with disabilities. Of respect for inherent dignity, individual autonomy including the freedom to make one's own choices, and independence of persons. B. Non-discrimination. C. Full and effective participation and inclusion in society. D. Respect for difference and acceptance of persons with disabilities as part of human diversity and humanity. Page 2. The Gazette of India Extraordinary. Part 2. E. Equality of opportunity. Accessibility. G. Equality between men and women. H. Respect for the evolving capacities of children with disabilities and respect for the right of children with disabilities to preserve their identities. And whereas India is a signatory to the said convention. And whereas India ratified the said convention on the 1st day of October, 2007, and whereas it is considered necessary to implement the convention aforesaid, be it enacted by Parliament in the 67th year of the Republic of India as follows. Chapter I Preliminary. Short title and commencement. Definitions. 1. This Act may be called the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, 2016. 2. It shall come into force on such date as the central government may, by notification in the Official Gazette, appoint. 2. In this Act, unless the context otherwise requires. Appellate authority means an authority notified under subsection 3 of section 14 or subsection 1 of section 53 or designated under subsection 1 of section 59, as the case may be. B. Appropriate government means in relation to the central government or any establishment wholly or substantially financed by that government, or a cantonment board constituted under the Cantonments Act, 2006, the central government. E. In relation to a state government or any establishment, wholly or substantially financed by that government, or any local authority, other than a cantonment board, the state government. C. Barrier means any factor including communicational, cultural, economic, environmental, institutional, political, social, attitudinal or structural factors which hampers the full and effective participation of persons with disabilities in society. D. Caregiver means any person including parents and other family members who with or without payment provides care, support or assistance to a person with disability. E. Certifying authority means an authority designated under subsection 1 of section 57. Communication includes means and formats of communication, languages, display of text, braille, tactile communication, signs, large print, accessible multimedia, written, audio, video, visual displays, sign language, plain language, human reader, augmentative and alternative modes and accessible information and communication technology. G. Competent authority means an authority appointed under section 49. H. Discrimination in relation to disability means any distinction, exclusion, restriction on the basis of disability which is the purpose or effect of impairing or nullifying the recognition, enjoyment or exercise on an equal basis with others of all human rights and fundamental freedoms in the political, economic, social, cultural, civil or any other field and includes all forms of discrimination and denial of reasonable accommodation. 41 of 2006. Page 3. 18 of 2013. 41 of 2006. Sec. 1. The Gazette of India Extraordinary. Establishment includes a government establishment and private establishment. Fund means the national fund constituted under section 86. K. Government establishment means a corporation established by or under a central act or state act or an authority or a body owned or controlled or aided by the government or a local authority or a government company as defined in Section 2 of the Companies Act 2013 and includes a department of the government. 1. High support means an intensive support, physical, psychological and otherwise, which may be required by a person with benchmark disability for daily activities, to take independent and informed decision to access facilities and participating in all areas of life including education, employment, family and community life and treatment and therapy. M. Inclusive education means a system of education wherein students with and without disability learn together and the system of teaching and learning is suitably adapted to meet the learning needs of different types of students with disabilities. And information and communication technology includes all services and innovations relating to information and communication, including telecom services, web-based services, electronic and print services, digital and virtual services. 0. Institution means an institution for the reception, care, protection, education, training, rehabilitation and any other activities for persons with disabilities. P. Local authority means a municipality or a panchayat, as defined in Clause E and Clause of Article 243p of the Constitution, a cantonment board constituted under the Cantonments Act, 2006, and any other authority established under an Act of Parliament or a state legislature to administer the civic affairs. Q. Notification means a notification published in the Official Gazette and the expression, notify, or notified shall be construed accordingly. A person with benchmark disability means a person with not less than 40% of a specified disability where specified disability has not been defined in measurable terms and includes a person with disability where specified disability has been defined in measurable terms as certified by the certifying authority. Person with disability means a person with long-term physical, mental, intellectual or sensory impairment which, in interaction with barriers, hinders his full and effective participation in society equally with others. One person with disability having high support needs means a person with benchmark disability certified under clause of subsection 2 of section 58 who needs high support. Prescribed means prescribed by rules made under this act. The private establishment means a company, firm, cooperative or other society, associations, trust, agency, institution, organization, union, factory or such other establishment as the appropriate government may, by notification, specify. Public building means a government or private building, used or accessed by the public at large, including a building used for educational or vocational purposes, workplace, commercial activities, public utilities, religious, cultural, leisure or recreational activities, medical or health services, law enforcement agencies, reformatories or judicial foras, railway stations or platforms, roadways, bus stands or terminus, airports or waterways. Public facilities and services includes all forms of delivery of services to the public at large, including housing, educational and vocational trainings, employment. Page 4. Equality and Non. The Gazette of India Extraordinary. Part 2. And career advancement, shopping or marketing, religious, cultural, leisure or recreational, medical, health and rehabilitation, banking, finance and insurance, communication, postal and information, access to justice, public utilities, transportation. Why reasonable accommodation means necessary and appropriate modification and adjustments, without imposing a disproportionate or undue burden in a particular case, to ensure to persons with disabilities the enjoyment or exercise of rights equally with others. 2. Registered organization means an association of persons with disabilities or a disabled person organization, association of parents of persons with disabilities, association of persons with disabilities and family members, or a voluntary or non-governmental or charitable organization or trust, society, or non-profit company working for the welfare of the persons with disabilities duly registered under an Act of Parliament or a state legislature. Rehabilitation refers to a process aimed at enabling persons with disabilities to attain and maintain optimal, physical, sensory, intellectual, psychological, environmental or social function levels. 2. Special Employment Exchange means any office or place established and maintained by the government for the collection and furnishing of information, either by keeping of registers or otherwise, regarding by persons who seek to engage employees from amongst the persons with disabilities. Persons with benchmark disability who seek employment. Vacancies to which persons with benchmark disabilities seeking employment may be appointed. 2. Specified disability means the disabilities are specified in the schedule. 2. Transportation systems includes road transport, rail transport, air transport, water transport, paratransit systems for the last mile connectivity, road and street infrastructure, etc. Universal design means the design of products, environments, programs and services to be usable by all people to the greatest extent possible, without the need for adaptation or specialized design, and shall apply to assistive devices including advanced technologies for particular group of persons with disabilities. Chapter 2. Rights and entitlements. 3. 1. The appropriate government shall ensure that the persons with disabilities enjoy the right to equality, life with dignity and respect for his or her integrity equally with discrimination, others. 2. The appropriate government shall take steps to utilize the capacity of persons with disabilities by providing appropriate environment. 3. No person with disability shall be discriminated on the ground of disability, unless it is shown that the impugned act or omission is a proportionate means of achieving a legitimate aim. 4. No person shall be deprived of his or her personal liberty only on the ground of disability. 5. The appropriate government shall take necessary steps to ensure reasonable accommodation for persons with disabilities. Page 5. Sec. 1. The Gazette of India Extraordinary. 4. 1. The appropriate government and the local authorities shall take measures to ensure that the women and children with disabilities enjoy their rights equally with others. 2. The appropriate government and local authorities shall ensure that all children with disabilities shall have right on an equal basis to freely express their views on all matters affecting them and provide them appropriate support keeping in view their age and disability. 5. 1. The persons with disabilities shall have the right to live in the community. 2. The appropriate government shall endeavor that the persons with disabilities are not obliged to live in any particular living arrangement, and be given access to a range of in-house, residential and other community support services, including personal assistance necessary to support living with due regard to age and gender. Women and children with disabilities. Community life. 6. 1. The appropriate government shall take measures to protect persons with protection disabilities from being subjected to torture, cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment. 2. No person with disability shall be a subject of any research without his or her free and informed consent obtained through accessible modes, means and formats of communication, and prior permission of a committee for research on disability constituted in the prescribed manner for the purpose by the appropriate government, in which not less than half of the members shall themselves be either persons with disabilities or members of the registered organization as defined under Clause 2 of Section 2. 7. 1. The appropriate government shall take measures to protect persons with disabilities from all forms of abuse, violence and exploitation, and to prevent the same, shall take cognizance of incidents of abuse, violence and exploitation and provide legal remedies available against such incidents. B. Take steps for avoiding such incidents and prescribe the procedure for its reporting. C. Take steps to rescue, protect and rehabilitate victims of such incidents. And D. Create awareness and make available information among the public. 2. Any person or registered organization who or which has reason to believe that an act of abuse, violence or exploitation has been, or is being, or is likely to be committed against any person with disability, may give information about it to the executive magistrate within the local limits of whose jurisdiction such incidents occur. 3. The executive magistrate, on receipt of such information, shall take immediate steps to stop or prevent its occurrence, as the case may be, or pass such order as he deems fit for the protection of such person with disability, including an order to rescue the victim of such act, authorizing the police or any organization working for persons with disabilities to provide for the safe custody or rehabilitation of such person, or both, as the case may be. B. For providing protective custody to the person with disability, if such person so desires. C. To provide maintenance to such person with disability. 4. Any police officer who receives a complaint or otherwise comes to know of abuse, violence or exploitation towards any person with disability shall inform the aggrieved person of from cruelty and inhuman treatment, protection from abuse, violence and exploitation. Page 6. Protection and safety, home and family, reproductive rights, accessibility in voting, access to justice. 6. The Gazette of India Extraordinary. Part 2. Of his or her right to apply for protection under subsection 2 and the particulars of the executive magistrate having jurisdiction to provide assistance. B. The particulars of the nearest organization or institution working for the rehabilitation of persons with disabilities. C. The right to free legal aid, and D. The right to file a complaint under the provisions of this Act or any other law dealing with such offense, provided that nothing in this section shall be construed in any manner as to relieve the police officer from his duty to proceed in accordance with law upon receipt of information as to the commission of a cognizable offense. 5. If the executive magistrate finds that the alleged act or behavior constitutes an offense under the Indian Penal Code, or under any other law for the time being in force, he may forward the complaint to that effect to the judicial or metropolitan magistrate, as the case may be, having jurisdiction in the matter. 8. 1. The persons with disabilities shall have equal protection and safety in situations of risk, armed conflict, humanitarian emergencies and natural disasters. 2. The National Disaster Management Authority and the State Disaster Management Authority shall take appropriate measures to ensure inclusion of persons with disabilities in its disaster management activities as defined under Clause E of Section 2 of the Disaster Management Act 2005 for the safety and protection of persons with disabilities. 3. The District Disaster Management Authority constituted under Section 25 of the Disaster Management Act 2005 shall maintain record of details of persons with disabilities in the district and take suitable measures to inform such persons of any situations of risk so as to enhance disaster preparedness. 4. The authorities engaged in reconstruction activities subsequent to any situation of risk, armed conflict or natural disasters shall undertake such activities, in consultation with the concerned State Commissioner, in accordance with the accessibility requirements of persons with disabilities. 9. 1. No child with disability shall be separated from his or her parents on the ground of disability except on an order of competent court, if required, in the best interest of the child. 2. Where the parents are unable to take care of a child with disability, the competent court shall place such child with his or her near relations, and failing that within the community in a family setting or in exceptional cases in shelter home run by the appropriate government or non-governmental organization, as may be required. 10. 1. The appropriate government shall ensure that persons with disabilities have access to appropriate information regarding reproductive and family planning. 2. No person with disability shall be subject to any medical procedure which leads to infertility without his or her free and informed consent. 11. The Election Commission of India and the State Election Commissions shall ensure that all polling stations are accessible to persons with disabilities and all materials related to the electoral process are easily understandable by and accessible to them. 12. 1. The appropriate government shall ensure that persons with disabilities are able to exercise the right to access any court, tribunal, authority, commission or any other body having judicial or quasi-judicial or investigative powers without discrimination on the basis of disability. 2. The appropriate government shall take steps to put in place suitable support measures for persons with disabilities, especially those living outside family and those disabled requiring high support for exercising legal rights. 45 of 1860. 53 of 2005. 53 of 2005. Page 7. 39 of 1987. Sec. 1. The Gazette of India Extraordinary. 3. The National Legal Services Authority and the State Legal Services Authorities constituted under the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987 shall make provisions including reasonable accommodation to ensure that persons with disabilities have access to any scheme, program, facility or service offered by them equally with others. 4. The appropriate government shall take steps to ensure that all their public documents are in accessible formats. B. Ensure that the filing departments, registry or any other office of records are supplied with necessary equipment to enable filing, storing and referring to the documents and evidence in accessible formats, and C. Make available all necessary facilities and equipment to facilitate recording of testimonies, arguments or opinion given by persons with disabilities in their preferred language and means of communication. 13. 1. The appropriate government shall ensure that the persons with disabilities' legal capacity have right, equally with others, to own or inherit property, movable or immovable, control their financial affairs and have access to bank loans, mortgages and other forms of financial credit. 2. The appropriate government shall ensure that the persons with disabilities enjoy legal capacity on an equal basis with others in all aspects of life and have the right to equal recognition everywhere as any other person before the law. 3. When a conflict of interest arises between a person providing support and a person with disability in a particular financial, property or other economic transaction, then such supporting person shall abstain from providing support to the person with disability in that transaction, provided that there shall not be a presumption of conflict of interest just on the basis that the supporting person is related to the person with disability by blood, affinity or adoption. 4. A person with disability may alter, modify or dismantle any support arrangement and seek the support of another, provided that such alteration, modification or dismantling shall be prospective in nature and shall not nullify any third-party transaction entered into by the person with disability with the aforesaid support arrangement. 5. Any person providing support to the person with disability shall not exercise undue influence and shall respect his or her autonomy, dignity and privacy. 14. 1. Notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force, on and from the date of commencement of this Act, where a district court or any designated authority, as notified by the state government, finds that a person with disability, who had been provided adequate and appropriate support but is unable to take legally binding decisions, may be provided further support of a limited guardian to take legally binding decisions on his behalf in consultation with such person, in such manner as may be prescribed by the state government. Provided that the district court or the designated authority, as the case may be, may grant total support to the person with disability requiring such support, or where the limited guardianship is to be granted repeatedly, in which case, the decision regarding the support to be provided shall be reviewed by the court or the designated authority, as the case may be, to determine the nature and manner of support to be provided. Explanation. For the purposes of this subsection, limited guardianship means a system of joint decision which operates on mutual understanding and trust between the guardian and the person with disability, which shall be limited to a specific period and for specific decision and situation and shall operate in accordance to the will of the person with disability. Provision for guardianship.
Alert. No next page.
তো বন্ধুরা, আমরা এতক্ষণ শুনলাম RPWD অ্যাক্ট 2016। অবশ্যই 35 পাতার এই সার্কুলারের মধ্যে প্রথম পার্ট। অবশ্যই নেক্সট পার্টের জন্য অপেক্ষা করো, খুব শীঘ্রই তোমাদের সামনে নেক্সট পার্ট চলে আসবে। যারা ভিডিওটি এতক্ষণ ধরে মন দিয়ে দেখলে তাদেরকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। অবশ্যই ভিডিওটি কেমন লাগলো কমেন্ট করে জানাও, আর অবশ্যই একটি লাইক করো, পরবর্তী ভিডিও যাতে নতুন করে তৈরি করতে পারি উৎসাহ করার জন্য। আর ভিডিওটি প্রচুর থেকে প্রচুর শেয়ার করে অন্যকে জানতে সাহায্য করো। চ্যানেলে নতুন হলে চ্যানেলটি সাবস্ক্রাইব করে পাশে থেকো। আসছি পরের ভিডিওতে, ততক্ষণ ধন্যবাদ।